Take my time here on this earth. Let it glorify all that you are worth. I have nothing. I have nothing without you. And all my soul
they were out there, they were having a good time, and amazing things were happening. You've heard those testimonies, right? They make 1,000, they make 3,000, and yet somebody who's working really, really hard, giving sweat and really making effort, and maybe that day very little comes. I asked myself why. And the answer that I kind of perceived as I was reading from what Young Eun Kim wrote is she was saying, when you look at these things, you have to remember that we don't labor for ourselves. We're not here as just one person in this world, and we're not related to anything else around us. The opposite of that, we are a product of a community, of a particular background, of a lineage, where we're the person on the earth after how many generations, you can't count them. Can anybody count the number of generations in their lineage? I don't think you can. Is it possible even? I don't think so. So, first of all, we're the product, of many, many, many generations and many, many unique things that happened in those generations. Not only that, but when you think about how some people maybe have it so easy, and we could be jealous of them, maybe it's because they have ancestors who labored before them that are making it easy for them now. Ancestors who helped them to do what they're doing, which sometimes can appear easy. And on the other hand, somebody else who is having a difficult time is actually facing some kind of restoration that needs to be taken care of. And who's going to do it? It has to be somebody on the earth. So they're facing those things. And when I read these things, I was kind of thinking, well, it looks to me like what she's saying is that either we're being carried or we're carrying. It's kind of one or the other, or maybe it's a combination of both at different times in our life. We're carrying ancestors, or they're carrying us. In a way, it kind of reminds me of you sometimes can see in a river, you throw something out there, a cork, a bottle with a cap on it, it floats, the current just whisks it away, and it's making no effort. Or in a river, you've sometimes seen when there's a log jam, and everything is stuck and nothing is moving. Sometimes you may feel like the cork floating freely, or sometimes you may feel I'm stuck in the log jam. I'm not getting anywhere. It depends on so many things. But if you look at our family means the way that God intended it to work, with the generations living together and children inheriting from their parents. When we're the parents, aren't we carrying the young? Literally, the mother carries the child for almost a year herself. And then mom and dad carry the baby for maybe years till they're fine to walk on their own. And then longer, till we really get them, our children, in the place where they are comfortable with the world and facing it on their own. And when you get to be grandparent, great-grandparent, you kind of end up again being carried in a way by your sons and daughters and grandchildren. It's really a full circle. But it's not just a full circle here on earth. It's a full circle when you bring in the ancestors and the spirit world too. So We don't see things, we can't see ourselves as a person who is alone, but it's always in the context of a family and generations and also a community. Sometimes you come out of a certain community and it's tough because what you learned there wasn't really what your parents intended you to learn there, but it's a byproduct of living in that place. So, and sometimes you even see it within a family. You see one who's having a very difficult time, maybe their whole life, but they're working hard, and you see a brother or a sister that looks like it's so easy. Well, we're dealing with different things, you know, so it's, what I'm trying to say this morning is I'm trying to give a message about that it's not fair to compare ourselves with anyone. It's really not fair. We're doing ourselves an injustice if we compare, because it's impossible to do. I want to kind of conclude by giving a very brief story. I think I've talked about this parable several times, but today, this morning, in a different context. You're familiar with the parable of the parable Jesus gave of the talents, right? The man was going to go on a journey. He's a master. He has servants. He gives to one servant 5 talents, 1, 2, and 1 a single talent. And then he says, he tells them to do something with those talents that they can increase while he's gone, and he'll be coming back. So the first 2 go to work right away. But the third one, he doesn't work at all. He buries the talent in the ground because he's afraid of something. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact story. But he buries it in the ground, and he wants to be able to give back the exact amount to the master when he returns. He says the master is a hard taskmaker, and he gathers where he didn't sow, and so on. Kind of a odd way of looking at the master. But, I mean, why is he with that master if he doesn't like his ethics? But anyway, the point I am getting to is when the master returns, he praises the ones who got busy right away. They went to work. They invested. They took risks. They worked. And he praises them and says, enter into the joy of your master. But the one who buried the talent, he's very upset with him. So the point I'm making is that whatever our situation is, whatever we have, whatever talents we have or don't have, and everybody has some, these talents need to be developed. We need to work. We need to do things to please God and become the co-creator that we were meant to be of our world and ourselves. So we in life have to take risks, and we have to develop ourselves and our families, our community, our church, and go forward to become those who we were meant to be. We have to take a little risk, and we have to be the subject and go forth into the world and conquer it. And whatever the difficulties that are in our way, with whatever goal we have to find the way to overcome that difficulty. That's our challenge. It's different for every person, so we can't look at one person and wonder, why are they turning out like this, and look at somebody else and be amazed at how they turned out like that. Because, you know, we're each facing a very, very unique situation. And the bottom line from it all is that God loves us, and that's why he's allowing us to have these opportunities. You know, the one who's being carried may not be loved as much as the one who's carrying. When you look at Jesus, and Jesus was carrying everything, the most difficult situation, but he was the one that God loved the most. And those who had everything at that time, they weren't really loved by God because they were missing the point of their very existence. So we look at these things, the difficulties, whatever it is we're facing, it's God's love. He trusts us. He thinks we can do it. And even if we work our whole life and we're just preparing for the future because that's the situation we're in, isn't that still wonderful? that we can be someone that God trusted, that our lineage trusted to work and offer what we could joyfully and not even be expecting that something's going to come back. I mean, it would be nice if it did, but do we really have a right to expect when we don't even know what it is we're maybe restoring? We don't know those ancestors and what happened, but we're here. It's our life. Let's go forth. Let's make the most of it, and let's thank God for what he's given us. Unique, but a wonderful life. God bless you. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Parents, we give thanks to you this morning for blessings that we may not even know about or see, but they're around us. You've given us life on this earth, and we didn't ask for it or buy it or do anything. It's a gift from you to live on this earth and to see the beauty everywhere and your love coming to us, despite whatever situation we might be in. The sun shines on us just as it does on anyone else in this world. And we live in this community, and we feel like we want to give thanks to you and recognize you. We want to